Yes. I know. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I've done this. Calm yourselves. I don't need this much applause. Thank you. Okay, stop. What's going on, guys? Skippy here. So when I was in my youth, my shining golden glory, I used to abuse a lot of drugs.
Game face.
Please get a chill.
It started out with weed exclusively, and then it eventually graduated into more potent substances. Namely the ones we're going to be talking about today, which are over-the-counter drugs. So if you're an imbecile or you haven't experienced life or you're fresh out of the womb, you're probably asking, what are over-the-counter drugs, sir? Well, over-the-counter drugs are things such as Benadryl, Robitussin, Dramamine, anything that's over-the-counter, available to the public, as long as you're of age. Now, these drugs can be stolen easily, these drugs can be acquired easily, and a lot of them actually have seriously strong psychedelic properties. So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to explain, my experiences with them, while also, giving a bit of a heads up and a notice to parents and especially teenagers who have just heard about these great new over-the-counter drugs that get you high. Look at that, it's amazing. We don't need to smoke weed anymore. So the first one we're going to be discussing is Robitussin, aka dextromethorphan, aka fucking Delsum. So the first time I ever heard about over-the-counter drugs, I was ecstatic. I was so fucking happy. One of my buddies came to me, an older guy, mind you, and he said, "Hey man, did you know you could get high on over-the-counter drugs?" And I said, Nah, man. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you on right now? What are you on them right now? And he's like, "Nah, man, check this shit out, brah." Shows me his phone, shows me a few little Arrowid articles about Robitussin and how it can get you real fucking crazy. So it piqued my interest. I had smoked weed at that point, so I was like, oh, well, how much worse could it be? I mean, I drank a little bit too, so I was like, hey, it can't be that bad. So that night, I go to the local Harris Teeter and acquired a couple of bottles. I go home that night, and me and my buddy are both doing it at the same time. We're texting each other ahead of time. We're like, yo, we're about to do this crazy-ass drug in our bathrooms at home. This is gonna be a blast. So we do it, and about 30 minutes in, and I'm feeling really fucking weird. I'm having trouble standing, I'm having trouble thinking. I'm listening to music, and music sounds great, but I can't recognize myself in the mirror at this point. I'm starting to look at myself, and I'm moving my face around, and I'm like, no, this don't seem right. So then about an hour goes by, and at this point, I shit you not, I am literally teleporting around the room because I guess my subconscious is forgetting the steps that I've taken in between walking. So in my mind, I feel like I'm teleporting. Walls are stretching farther than they should be. I'm hearing sounds that I wouldn't be able to hear normally, like if I heard my cat sneeze or fart downstairs, I would be able to hear it, and there's plenty of walls in between. It just shouldn't be possible. So then we sneak out, and I don't know how we meet up with each other, but we do, and I'm falling on the pavement, and I'm getting right back up, and I'm saying, whoa, this is crazy, this is amazing. A wild experience overall, but don't let me convince you to do this drug, because that was probably the only good experience I had with it. The next time I did it before school, and it was a fucking miserable experience. So remember how I said the sounds were amplified and I could hear everything? Imagine feeling that in a school. So I'm walking down the halls, I'm just getting blasted with noise, everything is just fucking an amalgamation of just sound, and it's so loud and it's so overwhelming. There was a point where I was in my computer classroom and I could hear every single ticking and talking of people's hands on the keyboards, And then my teacher asked us all to do a PowerPoint project, and she comes up to my computer and she's wondering why I'm just staring at the home screen, and I don't have a fucking answer because I can't tell her I'm on drugs. So I'm like, I don't know, just what were we doing again? And she was like, just open up PowerPoint. And I was like, okay, I'll open up PowerPoint. And I literally, I shit you not, I literally open and close Chrome at least like 20 times. To the point where she just hangs her head and fucking gives up on me. I'm robo-walking through the halls, which if you don't know what a robo-walk is, I'll put up a quick demonstration video. So when you're on dextromethorphan, aka Robitussin, you do this weird little walk thing where your legs extend above your head, it feels. You're walking normally, but this is how it feels to walk. And it sucks. Me and my buddies, we would skip school sometimes and we would just do a couple bottles and lay in a tree or underneath some shade and just honestly have awful experiences every time. I don't know why we did it. Just because we were dumb. Now the last trip I'm going to be talking about with DXM is this one time where I think I was mad at my girlfriend at the time. So I decided to go to Harris Teeter and get 2 big bottles of Delsum. And I think I did it because like it pissed her off or something. So I did that, and that one was a fucking mind melter. I remember barely making it home, and when I was home, I sat in my bed and I laid back, and my inner chi, my soul body, started to drop. So here's my body, and here's the bed. So my soul felt like it was dropping into the middle of the bed. So I was encased in darkness in between my mattresses. And I couldn't help but extend my arms out and put my legs together. And at that point, I felt my entire body transforming into a tree. I felt like energy orbs shooting through the roots of my tree. An absolutely insane experience, and I think I went to sleep after that, and it was all good. But Skippy, it really sounds like you like this drug a lot. It sounds like you really relate to it. It sounds like something you're kind of convincing me to do. Yeah, I get that it sounds fun, but each and every time was pretty fucking miserable looking back on it, and I don't recommend it. You also get this weird chatter thing where you can't stop doing that with your jaw. You just awful miserable experience. Your eyes are dilated, massive, and on top of that, drinking Robitussin and Delsum does numbers to your liver. If you do that like every day for like a week or 2 weeks, you will fucking destroy your liver for the rest of your life. And that is one of those organs that you can't get a replacement for. So that's a critical one, and you're gonna want to keep that around. So I don't recommend it to anyone of any age, of any demographic. Please just fucking smoke some weed or do some shrooms. On top of that, I have 2 friends who I have essentially lost to drug-induced psychosis. One of them was lost to LSD, and one of them was lost to dextromethorphan. The man did so much Robitussin in such large quantities every day for like a week or 2. Absolutely lost his brain, and like I feel so bad. He was actually the guy who introduced me to it. Poor dude, literally was in and out of mental hospitals. I think he's doing fine now, but that shit never goes away. Like when you have drug-induced psychosis, you're essentially stuck with it. No matter how much therapy you go through, how many years of mental training, you never really quite come back from it, which is unfortunate. And I really hope the man's doing well. I mean, he used to talk about things like lizard people, Illuminati, really heavy on that kind of stuff, and wasn't really into it prior to it. But he would tell me some fantastical stories about like aliens in the mental hospital, people peeling back their skin, revealing their leather, fucking lizard interiors, just a lot of crazy fucking shit. So I recommend my worst enemies to go through that kind of experience, and I just want to warn people to stay away from that, because that is a problem, and that could be an actual outcome that happens if you do abuse it too much. Now for the parents, I don't know if there's a link. I haven't done any research on it, but from personal experience, doing Robitussin as a drug, having some of the experiences I've had on it, I can almost relate it to fever dreams that I had when I was a small child, like 5 or 6 or 4, anywhere around that age. Because when I was sick, when I was that young, my parents would give me a spoonful of Robitussin. And like every time I took it, I always had these insane dreams of like megalithic objects. I would be floating through a blackness, a void, and there would be just mega size objects just growing and expanding. And it would only really be when I was sick, and when I was sick I would take the Robitussin. So I think there might be a correlation, because if you do the whole bottle, or even a small bottle, like if you take the small bottles, you still feel it. There's got to be a correlation between taking even a spoonful and being such a small child with a small body weight. They have to be feeling some kind of effects, and you could accidentally give your child some trauma. Like I remember these dreams vividly, and I don't know how much it affects my day-to-day life, but that would be something subconscious. Like I wouldn't know. So I just would recommend parents to not. If you want to give your kid Robitussin, it's fine. You can do whatever you want, but just be aware that if they come to you telling you that if they're seeing shit that a 5-year-old isn't supposed to see, you might want to stop. You might want to stop giving them Robitussin, or at the least give them medication that doesn't have dextromethorphan in it. You can check it on the bottle. I think there is actual cough syrup that doesn't have it. It should be fine. Now the next one we're going to be talking about is a fucking doozy, and I've only ever done it once. Dramamine. So Dramamine is a motion sickness pill. It comes in a little chapstick bottle, and I think there's 12 pills per bottle. The recommended amount is 1. However, if you take all 12, you get put into a state of delirium. So essentially what delirium is let's say it simulates you not sleeping for about 2 weeks. You don't really feel tired, but you see vivid hallucinations.
Oh, Skippy, you're making this one sound pretty cool too. I want to see crazy shit. I want to see some crazy shit.
Yeah, we all want to see crazy shit. But the shit you see on Dramamine is no joke. It's not like a shroom trip. You're not going to see magic colors and free-form life and nature breathing. No, nothing like that. What you see instead is reality and then hallucinations over reality. So essentially, everything's going to be looking normal and completely fine. The only difference is you're going to be seeing things that aren't there. And they're going to be realistic things for the most part, depending on how much you do and what you surround yourself with. So for example, the one time I did it, dropped the whole bottle, and it actually took a long time to kick in, like at least 3 hours it felt like. But by the time it started to kick in, I was on my way home on a longboard. And I guess it was garbage day because there were a bunch of trash cans lined on the streets. And as I rode, these trash cans appeared to be a person and a child, like say a mother and a child, a father and a child, all standing on the side of the streets. Scared the fuck out of me. really made me shit myself. Like, honestly, I had shit in my pants after. But as I rode and as I got closer, I watched these humans transform into the trash cans. So I kind of figured, okay, I'm about to start seeing a bunch of crazy shit. So at that point, it didn't freak me out too much, but to someone who isn't, like, a little bit stable, I could see how, like, this would be a terrifying experience. So I get home and I'm trying to go to sleep, and I see out of the corner of my eye that there is a homeless man with a scraggly long beard that drops all the way down to the fucking ground, peeking and poking his head out of this little corridor that I have. Every time I would look away from him, he would recede back behind the wall, and every time I looked at him, he would start to come closer. So I figured, you know, if I look away, he'll just be gone. But I couldn't look away because there's a fucking homeless man in my house. Like, you get my conundrum here? I kind of knew it was a hallucination, but not really at the same time. So I kind of just say, fuck it, I'm gonna look at him. And I look at him, and he starts to come out more, and he full-blown bum rushes it straight to my face. Literally, we could kiss, and he explodes into dust. Just nothing. Just turns into air. Fades out of existence. And at this point, I'm done. Like, I want off of Mr. Bones' wild ride. So I sit up and I'm trying to, like, concentrate and focus on getting this out of here. And my teeth start to fall out of my mouth, inside of my mouth. So each individual tooth starts to just drop in my mouth, and I feel it, and I start to swish them around like water. And this is terrifying me because, like, you know, losing your teeth is one of like the primal fears of man. So I try to reach in to my mouth to see if they're still there, and I legitimately reach all the way into the back, like this fucking far into my mouth. That's what it feels like. In reality, I was probably just doing this, which is even scarier. But it felt like I was going all the way back, and my mouth was just a fucking black hole. And then my teeth just started to just all go back into place. And I thought it was all good, and it was fine. And mind you, I'm sitting up in my bed Indian style, and I start to drift, and I think I'm going to sleep, but I'm not, because I'm sitting straight up. Reality starts to, like, reality stone warp around me, and like just scenery and background starts to just pop up. And now I'm suddenly behind a Starbucks that's in my area that we usually hang out at the time, and I'm talking to a buddy, and we have a full-on conversation for about 30 minutes, and I cannot distinguish what's real and what's not. Like, this is completely fucking real to me. And, like, as we're talking, everything just fades back out, and I'm reminded that none of that was fucking real. Absolutely insane. Not an experience I recommend anyone ever have, unless you really want to recede into the depths of your terrifying conscious. So we're gonna give that one a 0 out of 10. Fuck no, never again. So the last one is Benadryl. Now this is one I haven't really done myself, actually, but I've heard it's kind of an amalgamation of both of the ones I've talked about today, where you have vivid hallucinations, but you also feel something. Never heard anyone have a good experience with it. Just overall bad, terrifying. So just don't do Benadryl either. In fact, don't do any of them. We'll make the final consensus of this video. Stay the fuck away from over-the-counter drugs. They're not good. Nobody needs them. They'll warp your mind. They'll turn you into someone like me. You'll look like me. You'll have my face, and that's not something anyone wants. That's not a nightmare anyone wants to endure. So stay away from them. Keep them in a fucking lockbox away from your kids. They will drink them. if they ever get the chance or find out that it will get you real fucking twisted. So yeah, so this has been a PSA by Skippy. You get the message. Be safe. Just fucking, if you're gonna do drugs, just smoke some fucking weed, or at the most do some shrooms. I mean, the worst that can happen there is, you know, you come to some self-realization and some discovery, and you become a better person. But not over the counter drugs. No, that'll just fuck you up forever and ever, and you will never be the same. All right, that's it. God, this video is gonna take fucking ages to edit. Peace out.